Hello everybody and welcome back to Norwich Talk for some more transfer rumour goodness. Yes, so rub of the hands, very excited today to be bringing you a video about Adam Armstrong. David Freezer of the Pink 'Un has recently, and when I say recently I mean an hour ago, 2 hours ago maybe, has reportedly linked via the Telegraph, that's weird phrasing, Adam Armstrong with a potential move to Norwich City. It is reported that Norwich City are very interested in him. Am I surprised? No, I think Adam Armstrong has been on a lot of Norwich City fans' wish list, mainly because of many reasons on this list, to be honest with you. But the list itself, we'll start as ever with his age, position, nationality, 24. What did I say? Position, nationality, striker, English. I say striker, he is known to sort of drift out wide, and if you remember the Joshua King video, Norwich City are looking for that type of player who is maybe not naturally a striker but can sort of do a bit of both, and Adam Armstrong definitely fits the bill for this. He started his career at Newcastle, and I believe sort of throughout, I think it's 2015 to about 2018, he went on loan to Coventry, Barnsley, Bolton and Blackburn before then making his move permanent for £1.75 million in 2018 in August. So I know his contract's coming to an end, but regardless of how much he is to be sold for, because I think realistically he's going to be sold, it's going to be a great bit of business from Blackburn. £1.75 million for a player on a very upwards trajectory. But speaking of that trajectory, before we actually get into that as well, now I think of it, I think I remember him playing with Jacob Murphy at Coventry. Please correct me if I'm wrong, I probably should have researched that, but I think I do actually remember that. Now, Blackburn this season finished 15th, which maybe within Blackburn didn't surprise them, I don't know. But from my perspective, I remember thinking when they signed Tom Tribal that they'd signed some pretty decent players, and obviously had players already at the club who knew the league. Adam Armstrong, Elliot Bennett, dare I throw his name in there as well. Bradley Dack as well before he got injured. Actually, I don't know if I think he got injured last season or something, didn't he? Yeah, I don't know. But either way, I expect him to do way better than 15th, to be honest with you. Tony Mowbray has, I think they flirted with the playoffs for a little bit. Over the past couple of years, they have a bit, but then they've fallen off. You know, they've given Norwich 2 very tough games this season. So I was kind of surprised to see them finish 15th, to be honest with you. But he played 40 times in the Championship this season, scoring 28 goals, which I believe is the second most in the Championship this season. Ivan Toney scoring more, of course, 5 assists. And also, I think it's relevant to say this. In the 2019-2020 season, he scored 16 goals. The season before that, he scored 5. So he is quite clearly improving as a player. I think that's fairly evident. He is clearly on that upwards trajectory that I mentioned earlier. Now, the thing that this, I think, relies on is that he is now entering the final 12 months of his contract. And Dave Freezer's article says £10 million being reported by the Telegraph, but it also says that local media, local press are saying £20 million. So you decide which one you want to believe. As far as I'm aware, £10 million, I'm going to believe Dave and everything he's written, to be honest with you, which to me suggests that it's a very doable deal for Norwich. You just know for sure it wouldn't be £10 million up front. Dave said this, and I think, you know, again, I don't mean to be rude, but like, I don't think it takes a genius to figure out that Tom Tribal is a player who could be used as a bit of a bargaining chip. I don't know whether Blackburn fans liked him or not, so I'll have to find that one out, but could be used as a bargaining chip. I'm going to bring up the heat map now, which you can see just to the side of me. I spoke a little bit about this idea that he is not just a striker, but he does everything. This heat map absolutely suggests that, doesn't it? He's very spread out over this sort of opposition half, and for me, that's a really, really good thing, although I will caveat that towards the back end of this video. But that heat map tells you the tale of the type of player he is, and again, what's it, the third or fourth time I'm saying this now? Norwich City are looking for that type of player. And for me, it's really impressive and it really excites me. I looked up his injury history as well. I do that in these videos, don't I? I look up the injury history to sort of see whether they are typically injury prone. I've only seen 2 injuries over the last 5 years, which were a few days. Now, I'm not saying that means he's not injury prone at all. I just think that the data available wasn't great, because 2 injuries over the last 5 years would be remarkable if true. So if that's true, that's fantastic. But if it's not, then I'm going to blame the internet. He's represented England through under-16s, 19s to under 21s level. You know, I've said my piece on international experience, even at youth level, many times on this channel. If you've seen any other video before, when I talk about a potential transfer, you know my thoughts on that. Over this season, he's got 76% pass accuracy. Now, I am going to give an opinion which I don't know whether you will agree with, but I'm going to give it anyway, in that I think 76% pass accuracy is pretty good for an attacking player. For his type of style, and I think what I'll do now actually is I'll tag in another point, which is one of his key strengths is key passes. So I think for a player who is naturally very attacking, who via his heat map is always in the opposition half, I think a 76% pass accuracy, if I can get my words out, I think that's pretty good, to be honest with you, because theoretically, right, and theoretically is the key word here, most of his passes should be attacking, should be forward, and I think 76% is pretty good, especially if you look at Norwich City's system. What's it built around? It's built around passing, isn't it? It's about passing and moving, simply, and I think the combination of that percent and the heat map, I think, suggests he's a decent player. All the other things that I've said so far suggests he's a decent player as well. But just in terms of like things next to me, just to finish on his strengths and weaknesses, courtesy of who scored, or SofaScore, I can't remember which way round it is. I think it's who scored. It says finishing, holding the ball, and key passes per game are his strengths. He averages 1.1 per game, which for quite clearly a finisher is decent. Now, I'll caveat that with 5 assists isn't a lot, really, to be honest with you, but maybe that's just teammates letting him down. But 1.1 per game key pass, I think, is very, very good for someone who's meant to be a finisher. In terms of weaknesses, you've got defensive contribution. Now, I could get all the stats up for you, but I'm not going to. And I used SofaScore for this, which is bloody brilliant when it comes for average game stats. His defensive stats, so like tackles per game, etc., were all below 0.5, so quite clearly he's not defensively inclined, like someone like Teemu Pukki, for example. I mean, Teemu Pukki doesn't win every tackle, does he? But he's always trying. And I had this discussion with myself about Joshua King, because it said defensive contribution for him as well. And I debated whether that's important to me, because Teemu Pukki, I'm sure you agree, Teemu Pukki's defensive contribution, I can't figure out whether that's the standard for Norwich or whether that's just a luxury of Teemu Pukki, and I'm leaning towards that being a luxury, because an attacker's job is not to defend. A defender's job is to defend, but an attacker's job, especially a striker, isn't to defend, is it? So I don't think I'll look too much into that. But finishing as a strength really excites me, and 28 goals this season is bloody remarkable. We know what absolute talisman Teemu Pukki has been for Norwich this season. That's that's 25 goals. And Adam Armstrong, in a weaker team as well, has scored 3 more. I think Adam Armstrong would really benefit in a Norwich system, to be honest with you, and it's courtesy of Emi Buendia, I know, so I'd love to see how Norwich fill that gap when he, for me anyway, inevitably leaves. But I'd love to see him play behind someone like Emi Buendia, just getting chance after chance after chance. But yeah, I think that's everything for this video, to be honest with you, and this is, again, this type of video is that grey area I mentioned a few videos ago, where it's like, is it going to happen? No, not definitely, not 100%. Is it likely to happen? Yeah, I think, looking at all the factors and considering them, I think Norwich City, it would make sense, wouldn't it? And for me, it does excite me. I don't know personally how much I would want Adam Armstrong, because again, 10 to 20 million pounds, I'm not too sure, but I'm going to completely undo what I've just said in the sake of a balanced argument. I dare be sort of, I dare show any snobbery towards second division quality going up into the Premier League, to be honest with you, because you look at Emi Buendia's goals and assists in the Premier League compared to the Championship, that you can't compare the two, can you? So I'm not going to judge quality from the second division, knowing that it can make the step up to the Premier League, because, again, I know Emi Buendia is like just world class to Norwich fans. He's obviously not world class, but I think you know what I mean. At that point, my thoughts are trailing off in a very weird direction, but I hope this video was useful. I hope it was useful to you. It's a very, very exciting potential signing, and again, the English tax will exist, although I think it will be undone slightly or limited slightly by the fact that his contract is up in 12 months. And the last thing I'll say is he's very, very good on Football Manager, and I would be doing an absolute injustice to Jordan Blythe, who edits these videos, If I wasn't to mention, I think, what was it, the 40 goals he scored in one season for him, which is just ridiculous. So any FM players out there will know what an absolute bloody talent he is. Same with Tosin Adarabioyo. But yeah, Tosin Adarabioyo, that video went down brilliantly, by the way. Thank you all for your comments and likes, etc. on that. That's really appreciated. And to those of you as well, I think mostly it came from the Emi Buendia video. But over the last, I think, 35 days, we've gained like 100 subscribers, which is just bizarre to me. I think maybe it's just Arsenal fans perhaps trying to strike up a relationship, trying to wet the mouths of Norwich fans. At this point, I ain't got a freaking clue what I'm trying to say. But Adam Armstrong, very exciting, very interesting. Your thoughts, I would love to know them in the comments down below. If you enjoyed this video, if you found the video useful, perhaps consider giving it a thumbs up or a thumbs down. If you don't like it, that's totally fair enough. If you do enjoy these videos, perhaps consider subscribing. I noticed the percentages between not subscribed and subscribed watching the videos swings backwards and forwards. It's ridiculous, but we love it nonetheless. So yeah, if you enjoy the videos, perhaps consider subscribing. Give that bell a smash, a tickle, a poke, so you're notified every time a video goes live. So until I assume the next transfer video, I'll see you again very, very soon.